adventures.
Greetings once again, viewers. Chuke here with Chuke's Outdoor Adventures, and my, have we come full circle. I've got a great video for you today. The rifle that I once thought was the best in the early 2000s, then later in the late 2010s, I thought it was lame. I am now back to thinking it is the best. It is still cool. What I have is a Springfield Armory M1A SOCOM 16 CQB. So the original SOCOM 16 came out around 2004, and I got into firearms seriously around 2009, and that original SOCOM 16 was very popular in Alaska on all the forums and the trading deals and the gun shops. Guy, that was the rifle to have. It was the Scar 17 of the early 2000s. Absolutely. So that's what I wanted. For some reason, I never got one. I ended up building up a Remington 700 in a chassis back then, which was pretty cool. But then later on, I thought it was lame. And it's interesting because I was still into the M1 Garand, and I would mod it and do some lame stuff to that because I was a mall ninja. We'll talk about that. But after a while, I got that Fulton Armory M1 Grand Tanker in a 308 a year or two ago, and I was just like, I'm over this clip. I want a box magazine, and I started thinking about this again, and then it just progressed until I got this. Now everybody wants to know what Chuke is going to hunt with this fall. It's sad that we've reached a day and age where there's nothing really else to talk about, but I've already changed my mind 3 times, possibly 4 times, about what I'm going to hunt with in my epic August hunt. It's coming up in less than 2 weeks. I'm going out with Bullets for Bucks. He's got this crazy jet boat, and it's going to be an adventure. I'm going to have a chance to harvest several caribou, probably more than 2, and that's where the beauty of this comes in as a hunting rifle. Now, there's a lot of aspects about this, why it's perfect for this hunt, even though a lot of people will think I'm crazy at first, but it does make sense. Boy, this is with 10 pounds with the scope, and it's just, it gives you a pain in your upper middle back. So I really feel sorry for the women with really large breasts, because that is what causes back problems, is holding all that extra weight up front like this. So let's just go through it. It is such an interesting rifle. First of all, it's got this 16-inch barrel, the CQB barrel, 16.25-inch barrel, 6-groove carbon steel, 1 in 11 twist. It seemed to favor 168 grain SSTs. We'll talk about that. It's got this X-post front sight with the tritium insert. The rear sight is this ghost ring. It just reminds me of using this, scoped rifle in some of the Call of Duty games. Just iconic. A 2-stage trigger, which was really nice because of the weight, and this muzzle brake on the end that recoils next to nothing. And then we come to the Archangel stock, and I couldn't help myself, since I'm going back to my roots. I did use a stencil my tactical mailman gave me a couple years ago, and I stenciled a Punisher skull on the Archangel stock. Now, back when I was a mall ninja, 2009, I thought it was cool to put a Mosin in an Archangel stock and cover it in Punisher skulls. Later on, I realized that that's super lame, and I've always thought of Archangel stocks as just really cheap plastic, like the High Point carbines are made of, just horrible material. But this is totally different. This is something they specifically did with Springfield, and they tout it as this indestructible polymer material, and it really is different. It is different than the old plastic Archangel stuff. It is top notch. So it's got a bunch of QD mounts, a bunch of M-lock mounts. I had like a $12 bipod at the range, and I thought that's what was making me inaccurate. I put an angled foregrip And I don't really like hunting with pistol grips, even though this is an AK style pistol grip. It's going to work well with the adjustable stock here. We've got like a AR-15 style buffer tube kind of deal, and you can adjust this stock, which is going to work great with this Vortex PST here. But I am impressed by the Archangel stock. And of course, I've got a 10-round magazine in there, but I'll probably in my backpack have like 15 more rounds in it in case there's bears in a 15-round magazine. That brings me to a lot of times on my channel, I get all these guys asking, is a SOCOM 16 a good bear defense? I always say yes. If you get reliable 308 that is meant for being really short like this and handy in brush, this is really good bear protection for going through brush in Alaska. I mean, that's where it shines in a hunt too. As I was saying, I don't like the pistol grip. If I have time, a guy might trade me the old SOCOM 16 polymer stock for this, because when I'm hunting, I like to lay down a lot, put it on the backpack, and I don't like pistol grips for that. But I also do a lot of kneeling, you know, take a shot, steady my elbow on my knee. And with this foregrip and this pistol grip, I'm just, at close range, I'm just going to be able to just pop off shots. So easy. So the Archangel stock is great. Eventually I will replace it, but maybe not for this hunt. So we come to why are you going to hunt with this, Chuke? Well, this is set up for CQB, close quarters combat, and even though this is super old, the LPVO is popular nowadays for close quarter combat, law enforcement, military applications. What a perfect marriage of this PST on the SOCOM 16, which is meant for clearing houses, really close combat. Just a perfect setup. And the reason why I do this is 90% of the time when I'm hunting caribou, I'm killing it at 40 to 60 yards. I mean, that's at least 80% of the time. You wouldn't believe how much it happens. Now, with my luck, I'll get, you know, I won't get closer than 300 yards when I bring this, but all the time. And people may think that's crazy, but caribou hunting is very different than, you know, hunting a whitetail or something, because they're herd animals. And when the herd's in, they're in. And you've got packs from 20 caribou running around to several hundred. I've come up on a herd of 5,000 before. It's just mind-blowing. It reminds me of the ancient times with buffalo, when you see a herd just moving around with a hive mind like that, thousands of animals. It's just crazy. And since I am going to harvest several animals, I'll get my pick of the bulls if they're in, if I see a big herd. And with this, I can just do, you know, pop, pop, and harvest my animals. It just makes a lot of sense. Now, we come to how accurate it is. And I was kind of getting pissed because I took it to the range today and I was like, crap, this is not even as good as that Mossberg Thunder Ranch MVP I shot last week. That was horrible. That thing is totally inaccurate. A horrible rifle, but it's kind of cool. It's like a Chuke rifle too, a Mall Ninja rifle. But I mean, I was getting, you know, the typical 2-3 inch groups at 100 yards with this. But then New York Prepper told me, oh yeah, that's what you get with those SOCOM 60. You know, some guys get a little bit better, but that's pretty standard. It did seem to like the 168 grain SST Hornady Super Performance, so that's what I'm going to be hunting with, which is going to be interesting because the last time I shot a caribou with 168 grain SST at 50 yards away, it blew a hole the size of my fist through the other side of it. Here's the hide. But I don't mind, because I would rather lose a little bit of meat, drop my animal right there. I've seen a guy I was hunting with, he shot a cow caribou, you know, right through the double lung shot with a 30-06, a little hole through each side of the ribs there, and it ran 150 yards, and it took us over an hour to find it. I want to drop the caribou, so I will be using the Hornady SST But just an amazing rifle. I will hunt with a 10-round mag, like I said. Really reliable, and this thing shines at close quarters. Even though it had kind of bad accuracy at 100 yards, as long as I can hit the pie plate, I'm in business for hunting. That's all I've ever based my hunting rifles on. This is an adequate hunting rifle. It is not a super accurate sniper rifle, but it is an adequate hunting rifle. I can hit a pie plate at 100 yards, 150 yards, and I will be able to harvest an animal with this. So that's going to be a cool video. You do get a nice cheek weld, even though that scope is pretty high. And at 50 yards, let me tell you, I could hit a dime. This was just so effortless to shoot with just a little recoil, staying on target. It's just amazing. I cannot say enough about this rifle. You know, they're still going for around $2,000 for a brand new one, and they're still very popular after all these years. People love them, and I can see why now, because I've fallen back in love with the SOCOM 16. So this is what I will be hunting with in a couple weeks now. Let me know what you guys think. Please chime in. Check out my website, chukesoutdoor.com, and please become a patron if you can. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next time. It's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you all die every time.